Welcome to the WODcast podcast. I'm your host, Eddie Ifft, live from Las Vegas. You can't see it back here because that's a green screen, but it's actually out there. I'm on the Las Vegas Strip right now. I'm performing at the MGM Grand Casino, doing shows, headlining Brad Garrett's Comedy Club all week. And I just was lucky enough to sit down today with the fittest man in the world, Justin Medeiros. And awesome interview, awesome guy, unbelievable. He's a young boy. He's 20-some years old, and to me, that is young. He's got his whole life ahead of him, and he is an awesome athlete. Just an incredible performance this year to win the games, and looks like he'll be around for years to come. Just a nice kid, though. Really nice. And fun talk. I hope you'll enjoy it. I want to thank everybody that listens to the show. We're almost at 500 episodes. Never thought we'd get here. We're very close to 500. I don't know if we're going to do something special for 500. Maybe a reunion episode. Who knows? But we have almost made 500, and I couldn't have done this without you guys. The people that listen to the show are what really makes it happen. It gives me a guilt complex that I feel like I need to do it all the time. When I was out with a death in the family, I felt so guilty that I missed a week. And I just feel like I need to do this every week for you guys. There's people that donate money every week on the Patreon. And there's people that listen. Nobody reviews it, though. Can you please go rate, review, and comment on iTunes? Just write a review. That's all I ask. I don't ask for a lot. Just review. I just want to get up over 1,000 reviews. That's 2 reviews per episode. Just 2 people. That's all you got to do. You can write, Eddie made me do. You can write anything you want. Just give it 5 stars, though, because it helps us then get new and noteworthy in fitness. I have a feeling this episode will get us up there. When I had Vellner on, we were 9th in health and fitness in the world. So that's pretty good. I'd love to be number 1, but you're not going to knock off, like, I don't know who number 1 is. It's Ben Greenfield's up there. Anyway, I want to thank the people everybody that's donated. And if you haven't, if you've never won anything from us, send me a line going, hey man, I've been supporting the show forever. Write to WODcastpodcast@yahoo.com. Anybody who's not received their MyoPucks or Leopard Claw, please send me an email. We will make sure they all get out this week and everybody will receive theirs, okay? So I will, if you send me the email, I will check with MyoPucks and Leopard Paw, and we'll figure it out and figure out what episode you won, and we will get that out to you this week for sure. So what those are, the Leopard Claw and the MyoPucks, if you don't know what I'm talking about, they're self-rehabilitative devices that you use when you get injured. And if you do sports in general, you will get injured. And you need these things to fix yourself. So get yourself an electronic muscle stimulator. Best way to do it, become a Patreon of the show by $5 a month. And you'll get maybe you'll win one. Like Chris Pug. Did I say it right? Pug, Pew. However you say it, Chris, please don't be mad at me because you won. I'm sorry, it's not even Chris. I got your first name wrong. Oh, my God, be mad at me. Be mad at me. Your name is Chase. Chase Pug. Pug. It's got a silent H at the end. Pew. Phew. Pug. I don't know, Chase. I'm sorry, but you won, Chase, so don't be mad. People call me. I tried to check into my hotel at the MGM. My picture is up on Las Vegas Boulevard, and the biggest billboard there is, Eddie Ifft. Boom. I go to check in the hotel. You don't have a reservation. Yes, I do. My name is Eddie Ifft. No, there's an Eddie left here, but not an Eddie Ifft. So I apologize, Chase Pug. Pug. But you won. You won a Leopard Paw and a MyoPucks. So we'll get that out to you right away if you send us an email at WODcastpodcast@yahoo.com. Other than that, I know you guys all saw the Ricky Gerard thing. We talk about it in the episode. Ricky's coming back. I think he's going to the Dubai Championships, and then he's going to be at the CrossFit Games if he qualifies. And I have my feelings on that. The one thing I am a little upset is I went to Wollongong, Australia to interview Ricky, and he blew me off the night before. I was waiting in my hotel room. I was all excited. I was going to drive to his gym and interview him, and then he pulled out. This was like a year and a half ago. And I have to say, looking at all the controversy, you did the smartest thing, Ricky, by not letting me interview you. And I say, Ricky, wait. Try to get yourself into the games, do well, win people over. Then come do my show, because it would have been a nightmare for him. I completely understand. I sent Chase Ingram a message saying, hey, good thing he did your show and not mine, because we would have said some fucked up shit and gotten him in more trouble. So smart, Ricky. Good luck. I believe in forgiveness. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Should I just sing this the rest of the interview or the rest of the show? Let me tell you what else is happening. I'm performing live. Like I said, you're probably going to miss this, but I'm in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand. Next week, I'm off for a couple weeks. The tour slows down for 2 weeks, and then it starts up again, San Diego, La Jolla Comedy Store, and then I go to Wilmington, North Carolina, then Naples, Florida, Key West, Edmonton, Canada. I'm off to Alaska, all these places. Get your tickets at EddieIfft.com. EddieIfft.com. I got some new merch there. Look at these. Oh, I don't know if they're selling these. These are my new hats from my Malabama line. We got socks, we got hats, we got bandanas, we got coffee mugs, we got stickers, we got guitar picks, everything with. That's it. Sweet Home Alabama. You know, that's my brand. So if you want to get some of that stuff, hit me up. Person that's in charge of this isn't too into shipping stuff. They just want you to buy it live at my shows. And it's selling out, people. It's all going to be gone. It's all going to be gone. We're only going to do probably one run of this stuff. But I like it. I'm really liking that hat. Looks good. All right. So you know where my dates are. Come see me live. Check out my special, Sweet Home Alabama, on YouTube. And my new merch. Send me an email if you want one, or a Facebook. Add me on Facebook. Add me on TikTok. Add me on Instagram. Add me on YouTube. Add me on YouPorn. Add me on wherever. You know, follow my socials, people. Let's get social. And let's get to this episode, because it's a good one. Hope you liked Rob Wolf last week, Justin this week, and who knows? Look, best guests in the world all come on the WODcast. It's like a rite of passion. Is that right? A rite of, I don't think passion. It's a rite of way, a rite of, who knows? But here is the episode, so enjoy. Good to have you. Thanks for doing the show. I appreciate you. I feel like I'm not talking to the fittest man in the world. I'm talking to a college student.
Because you are.
It's so weird. It's so weird. I try to stay away from your type.
My type. What's my type?
Like a college student. I used to perform at so many colleges. I just got sick of. I got sick of being there. I got sick, and you seem like way more mature because you're a professional athlete. It's got to be weird.
Dude, it's really weird saying.
Like, it's weird that you're at college.
Yeah. Dude, it's weird.
It's weird because you're walking around there, a professional athlete that just won a shitload of money. And there's all these, like, probably the whole school, some people probably know who you are, but they look at, like, the football players like, oh my God, he's the quarterback, or and you're like, I'm a professional.
Like, come on now, guys. It's pretty funny. Some of my classes this semester they're interesting. I have like a conditioning procedures class where they're like teaching us like how to work out. So it's been pretty fun.
Does your professor or your teacher know who you are?
No.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just sit. I'm like, all right, just listen, do my work, and move on.
You remind me of one of my best friends in high school, John Ameo, moved to Pittsburgh from Peru and took Spanish 1. Spoke it fluently, but took Spanish 1.
Love it.
He was with me in Spanish 1, Spanish 2. Well, I took Spanish 1 3 times, but like he was getting like straight A's in like I'm like, this is bullshit.
This guy's a genius. Yeah. Nope, he just is.
It's like me taking English as a second language. I'd probably get like a C.
That's true.
So does anyone there? Come on, your friends have to know that you're the fittest man in the world there.
A couple people. Yeah. I have like a group of people. I actually just told them last week. We did like we were testing like BMI.
Yeah.
And they're doing like the skin fold test. We like kind of pinch and feel, and like we had to do it to each other. Like, dude, like, what do you do? Do you work out? And I was like, oh yeah, like I do CrossFit. And they're like, oh, that's cool. Like, what are you gonna do after? And I was like, hopefully still CrossFit. Like, not sure what to do. Like, dude, like, do you compete? And I was like, yeah, a little bit. Like, and he's like, do you want to make the CrossFit Games? And I was like, I won it last year. He's like, what? No way. And then, yeah, they looked it up. They're like,
I put my foot in my mouth like that all the time. My neighbor and good buddy of mine is the lead singer of System of a Down. And,
oh, that's sweet.
And the first day I met him, he introduced himself to me and he said, hey, I heard your wife's having a baby and mine is too, and heard you're a comedian. And I was like, yeah. He's like, I looked at your stuff online. He's like, you're funny. And I was like, thanks. And I go, what do you do? He goes, I'm in a band. And I was like, another band. You know?
Okay, guy.
And I said, what's the name of your band? And he goes, System of a Down. And it just like hit me. Oh, this is the lead singer. And I was in this like, I feel stupid. How do I get out? And I was just like,
yeah.
I did it also to the bass player of Larry Mullen. I met him in a bar, and the bass player of U2. And I said, what do you do? And he goes, I'm in a band. And I said, aren't we all?
Smooth, man. Smooth.
So I feel for those kids that you don't walk around with a shirt on that says, I'm the fittest man in the world.
Oh, shoot. Makes for good stories.
So your background is football and wrestling.
Yeah.
How good were you at those?
I wasn't really that good in football. My school sucked at both the sports. So I just kind of did it for fun. I did football for 4 years, like 7th grade through sophomore year. And then I really just focused on wrestling. I thought I was going to go to college for wrestling. That was like my plan. And then I went to Boise State and I was going to wrestle for the school here. And then they cut the program.
Oh, that kind of sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it worked out good because I did CrossFit, but I did CrossFit the whole time too, but I just didn't really treat it as like my number one sport. Like wrestling and football were always like the number one, and CrossFit helped me. And then
right.
The decision was chosen for me.
What was your weight in wrestling? What were you wrestling at?
172.
Okay.
My senior year.
And you're what now? Like 205, 195? What are you?
195. Kind of fluctuate.
I can almost guess every CrossFitter's height and weight.
Oh yeah, 5'8", 195.
So with wrestling, weren't you kind of like, didn't you want to transfer?
I was honestly getting like pretty burnt out at it, but I was pretty good at it, and I really love CrossFit, but I just didn't really view CrossFit as a sport.
Right.
I was like, if you want to do it as a sport, you got to be at the games, and I was nowhere near that level.
Right.
So I was just like, oh, that's weird. Like I've always done sports my whole life, and now I'm doing no sports. Like wrestling got canceled.
Right.
I'm already at this school. I was like, I guess I'll just keep doing CrossFit. And it was a really different switch. Cause even now it's like, oh, people, what do you do? And I'm like, work out. I don't know. It's just different.
It's funny. That usually happens to people in their mid-30s where they're like, I don't have a sport to play. Oh, I can do CrossFit. We said this from like day one. I've been doing this show for like 10 years. And we said from day one, eventually the young kids will figure it out. And when they do, they're going to beat everybody because it's just like college football and going into pro football. You know, you got like 22, 23-year-old kids that are and I'm calling them kids because I'm an old fucker now. But they're the best. And I think we're going to see more and more of it as like 15, 16-year-old kids pick it up. 4 years later, they're going to start.
I mean, that's literally what's happening right now. I mean, you see like these kids that compete in the teenage division and they're coming out, and there's even a girl this year, I think she was like 14 or 15 or something, and snatched 201. It's like, what? Like, how is that even possible? It was ridiculous. It's like some of these kids that are coming up in the teenage divisions, it's like, it's insane what they can do. I mean, Guy was one of the guys this year. He competed in the teenage division, and now he's at the CrossFit Games, top 10, like fittest man in the world. It's pretty nuts. And Haley Adams obviously is the OG example of that.
So like looking at your competitors, you don't have to look at the people that are in the field right now. You got to look at the people underneath that are coming
I'm
up.
like, dude, these kids are doing that at that age. I was like, what I was doing at that age? Not even close.
So the other thing is, you know, and so many people in the CrossFit world have been like, oh, if you want to be a CrossFit Games competitor, you got to quit everything and train 3 times a day and blah, blah, blah. And I'm starting to believe that's not so true because you look at people that worked in like football, baseball, basketball have realized that you can't work out like that. And if you do, you're not going to be able to play the sport. And granted, this is a sport where you do have to have endurance and endure all of that. And so it does take lots of time. But you're a product of, here you are, a full-time student doing, you know, what's your major?
Kinesiology.
Yeah. Well, that lends to it, but but you're a full-time student, which is, I mean, I went to school. I never studied once, but I was an athlete in college too, and it was like, you know, you're able to go and do both. And I think that this whole idea of like, no, you got to work out all day long, 7 times a day, and drink protein shakes in between, and then make sure you get your 27 hours of sleep. But you must not have any kind of college life.
Yeah, no, I definitely haven't. I think my freshman year I got out a little bit, but that's just never been like really my jam anyways. I'm like super competitive.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've always just kind of like dived into whatever I do. And I think I haven't drank, and I can't tell you the last time, but I remember like my freshman year, it's just like playing games. I just want to beat the person I'm playing games in, and then you lose and you end up getting drunk.
Yeah. It's weird because it doesn't lend itself to CrossFit too well to like be a big drinker.
No, I don't think so.
I had a dude on the show years ago. I think, it wasn't Corey Melton. It was a Corey. I think he had done well at one of the regionals. I think he had made the games. Mm-hmm. And this is like maybe 7 years ago. But this dude liked to party. And he was like, I like to have a couple beers before I work out. And I'm like,
shoot.
And I'm like, wow, that's my kind of guy.
Yeah.
But I don't think, you know, there are guys that play college sports that go out and do it. I mean, I tried to do it. I tried to be in a fraternity and also run, you know, high level Division I track, and doesn't work well when you're puking at practice.
No.
and it just, you can't. You got to do one or the other. So I don't know anyone that does it well. I mean, I'm sure there's a few guys out there that are able to do it, but
yeah. I mean, it just turns into being like it's a lifestyle. Like it turns into everything that you're doing is kind of revolves around it. But like what's cool about CrossFit is there's the whole CrossFit community. It's like you said, there's normally people in their 35s that find CrossFit and start getting into it. But there's also like me there too. So it's just pretty cool to having all those people. And if you meet someone at the gym, it's pretty high likelihood they're going to kind of do the same things as you. So at least here in school, a lot of my friends are like 35 and married and have kids. So that's kind of my group I'm hanging out with.
So you train at a CrossFit gym out there?
I literally just moved back up here because of COVID. I was kind of gone.
Yeah.
And I got a pretty sweet home gym set up. Literally like 10 minutes before this call, my Rogue order showed up, and I'm just so pumped.
Oh my God. Now. Why did you do this show? I would have canceled.
Dude, I was like, it's supposed to get here at 10:30, and I'm like, I'm waiting. And I get this phone call from a guy, and I like answered because I thought like maybe it's the Rogue delivery guy. And he's like, hey, like, is this just Medeiros? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, is it like be just Medeiros. And I was like,
how cool is that?
I don't know. I think, but it turned out awesome. He does CrossFit too in the area. And he was super pumped. Like, dude, this is awesome. I can't believe I'm here. And like dropped off all my stuff. And
so where have you been working out?
in my garage since I've been back.
And
I've gone to the CrossFit gym once since I've been here. When I got here early, I went in and I was like, hey, I don't really need anywhere to train, but there's some sessions to where like garage gym is not ideal. So I might be like coming in off and on, but that was kind of the only time I went. But my home gym setup's nice enough where I haven't had to really go in yet.
Don't you like having people to push you or train with you?
I, for the most part, train by myself. It doesn't really bother me. I like having people to train with, but like the purpose of it is not to have someone that's like trying to beat me in the workout.
Yeah.
I just like having someone else there suffering with me.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I have a house. I'm living with 2 other people right now, married couple, okay. But they both do CrossFit too. So I try to rope them into whatever I'm doing.
That works out.
Scale it or whatever, but it's just nice having someone out there that's like just kind of going down, working out with me. It's fun.
Boise's a cool place. I used to date a girl that went to Boise State and way back when. And I just remember the blue football field.
Yeah, that's it. If you're thinking about like Idaho, you think of Boise State and the blue field and potatoes.
Yeah, it's a cool place. I love Idaho, though.
Yeah, there's so many things to do.
And you grew up where? Somewhere in California?
Yeah, in Northern California, a little south of Sacramento.
Okay, that's a weird area. Not going to lie to you. I perform up there sometimes. I'm just like, anytime I go north of San Francisco, I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen now.
Yeah. I'm in Lodi. It's a small town. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh, I know it. Yeah.
Yep, Lodi. It's a bunch of wine and all that stuff out there, but that's a different type of town.
Yeah. So Boise, though, Boise's cool. It's got that river that goes through it with the everybody goes tubing in the summer.
Yep. Yeah, awesome. I know it's a good time. My parents love doing it. They love Boise too. They're still in California, but yeah, they love doing all the things.
Boise's a great place. Bogus Basin's really close.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. Especially if you're a student, you get a season pass for $150. And then like if you don't have a car, they run shuttles every morning up to Bogus, and it's 40 minutes away. It's perfect.
I can't imagine you're doing too much skiing though.
No, it's a little high risk, but I still get up a couple times a year early on.
It's just weird for me to think about like you as a professional athlete, as a college student, and like how many, how focused you have to stay. And just like, okay, CrossFit has to be your priority. You're also going to school though, trying to get good grades. It's just it's weird. You're like the first guy I've met that's like doing this.
Dude, I know there's other athletes that have gone out there and done it, but it's definitely it's a hassle. It definitely have a lot of juggling, just like time management and like prioritizing like what you got to do. But hey, there's time for everything. You can fit it in. Yeah,
like building your home gym that you're gonna do now.
Yeah.
What'd you get? What kind of good stuff did you get?
Dude, I'm so pumped. So I got a standalone rig because I have like an outside rig that's 15 feet tall that like goes up and into my garage so I can do rope climbs and stuff.
Okay.
But it gets freaking cold here. Like I don't have anywhere to squat inside. So I got a rig that's going inside. And then off that, I got like the pulley system. So I can do like lat pull downs.
Oh,
and
nice.
And like rows. And that was way bigger than I thought. And the picture on the computer looks like this big. And it came and I'm like, oh, wow, my 20 by 20 foot square garage it's going to be a little hard to fit that in there.
So all the nerds right now, CrossFit nerds that listen, want to know exactly what you have because they...
Yeah, I know, huh? Everything.
Here's why. Here's why they want to know. Because they want to know, like, looking at you, I could give a shit. I don't want to be anything like you because I am decrepit and falling apart, and all I want to do... I look at, like, 80-year-old men, and I'm like, that are walking around still, like, running, and I'm like, what did you do? That's what I want to be. But for all the nerds out there that are going, I want to be the next winner of the CrossFit, they want to know exactly, like, do you have a GHD machine?
That's a secret, man. Yeah, no, I got a GHD.
Who is it? There's a couple guys I've had on. Some are like willing to tell you every single thing they do, and some guys are secretive about their workouts and what they do. Some guys are very like into the CrossFit world and like, here, I'm going to share with everyone. But then there are other guys like, no, fuck it. I want to win. I don't want to.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys everything.
I think Fraser
But,
was a little bit like that. Once he won, he won enough times. He told everything. But do you
yeah.
do you have a GHD machine?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I'm gonna see what else you have that I would think. So you obviously have rings in the garage. How are they?
Yeah, outside.
Oh, they're outside.
Yeah.
Dude, what are you doing? You're the best in the world. You should have Rich.
Hey, just recently I got a rig. It used to be off the tree in the backyard, so I'm moving up in the world. Baby steps now, baby steps.
But you know what? You won doing this, so why break it? Or why fix it if it's not broken? I have this theory about that like it's like Rocky in Rocky 4. He went back to the old shed and was climbing up snowy hills, and maybe that's what works.
Dude, it feels good. I know, because like before COVID, I trained here like the whole time. I trained up here going into Ireland, the Filthy 150. That's how I qualified for the games in 2020. And then since then, I really haven't been back because like COVID hit and school went online so I can train in Washington and be in school. So I haven't really been back since. And I just moved back up here after the games, and it's just like bringing back all those feels from like 2 years ago. And it's like all the work that you've been putting in the garage. So like, I'm super excited to be back. It's like, makes it fun to train again.
You were training out of what, Fort Vancouver or whatever it is, right across the river from, where is that? It's from Portland. Is that right?
From Portland.
Yeah, because I perform in Portland, and they make me stay there for some reason. I'm not allowed to stay in Portland. I don't think.
Are the Portland people too good for you? Is that what it is, or what?
I think they're afraid.
The high class people in Portland.
I think the homeless people are going to kill me. So
yeah.
after the jokes I tell about them, so you trained mostly there, and your coach was there.
Yeah, he owns CrossFit Fort Vancouver. So he's the OG. He's like an OG CrossFitter. He was at the games in 2009 and made it every single year until 2018.
So what are you going to do, you being in Boise and him being there?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that we got to work with. I mean, we have a really strong base. The last 2 years, we've been working with each other. I mean, last year, I moved in with him in February, like at his house with his family. And I was there February all the way until the games. So 6 months, I was just living with him. So we have a really good relationship. And like when the season rolls back around again, I'll head back over there. So now's the off season, kind of enjoy some time.
Okay, that makes sense. I was like, in my mind, I'm sitting here thinking like you achieved this amazing feat. Don't fix it. What do you like the physio or the kinesiology degree can wait, like
I'm just like so close to finishing. I'm like, I just got to finish this, then I'm done.
What are you? What year?
So it's my last semester.
I didn't know that. I thought you were like a sophomore or something. I was like, oh, you're fucked. So you're done after this. So
I mean, it was nice. I mean, last year leading up to the games, I was a full-time student and I like taking 15 units. Now I'm only taking 10 units.
Did you learn more in school or from CrossFit?
CrossFit.
Did you really?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, at school, I mean, I knew that this was the realm that I wanted to go. But the thing that sucks about like a lot of kinesiology majors is like we have to take all these other classes. Like I'm in a lot of the same classes that like nurses are in. So I'm learning like that side of things, and it's not the realm that I wanted to go into in the first place.
Yeah, but down the line that might come in handy.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just I feel like I figured out kind of what I want to do now. Now I'm just in school. I'm like, all right, let's need to finish this thing up.
So what do you plan on doing after this is all over someday?
Yeah, I mean, the dream was just to qualify for the CrossFit Games, and I just want to do that once. And then I had no idea what I wanted to do, and now I have like a chance to make like CrossFit like a career. Right now, it's a job for sure, but I have like the chance to make this a career and something I can do forever. And not only as an athlete, but I love CrossFit. I love coaching. I would love to get into coaching, like have my own program one day. And I know that'll come just like putting in the work now and trying to be the best athlete I can be. Because if I'm the best athlete I can be for the next 10 years or however long I'm competing for, then all that stuff will be there when I'm done.
That's good. Because I think there's a lot of like games athletes that become such athletes that they're like, and not nothing against them, because it's probably how I'd be. I'd be like, yeah, this is my sport. I do it when it's over. I'm done. But there are guys that are like completely, and all the guys from the beginning were kind of immersed in it because they own gyms and they were into being trainers. And then the games came from that. Whereas now people go to the games and they're like, oh, yeah, there's people that go take classes of this. It's like being a basketball player and going, oh, yeah, I'm going to go back to a basketball school and help people. So I get it. But I just expected you to be like, no, man, I just did the sport and I'm out. But to go back and like be part of the community is, I'm sure Rosa will like that.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I mean, I started CrossFit in 2012.
How'd you find it?
My mom.
Really?
Yeah. My mom found like a gym opened in our town. She joined it, and was just telling me all about it. And I was trying to be a really good wrestler still at a young age. So I was like training with the high school team, and I'm talking to these guys. They're going to the gym for like hour and a half, 2 hours at a time, telling me all the stuff they're doing. My mom comes home. She's like, yeah, we're there for an hour. We warmed up, did a 7-minute workout and left. And I'm like, 7 minutes? I'm like, you can't work out in 7 minutes. Like, it's not how it works, Mom. Like what you're doing is probably like some yoga stuff. I don't know. And I'm super competitive. So she said he'd like it and got me to come in, and been doing it as much as I can ever since.
Did your dad, was he like a super athlete or something?
Hey, he played sports growing up, but sports were never like really his thing. He played soccer, and I don't think he even played soccer in high school. Wow. Yeah, and then my mom didn't really do anything. But they're both super athletic people. My dad started CrossFit, and he was strong as heck. Yeah. Like he would take 2 years off and come in and still squat 450. Like,
yeah, see, I think there is a genetic predisposition. I mean, obviously, if like you're going to be an elite athlete at the level you are, I mean, and you're at this weird, it's weird talking to you because I usually talk to guys who I'm like, you're an elite athlete. You're the elite of the elite. You're the elitist. You are the most elitist. I don't even know how to say it, but so there is like kind of a study of you that people look at you and go, the fuck, like what is it? And I think to be the top, you have to be super hardworking, super genetically gifted, and have a lot of luck. Like the three things all have to combine. You can't just have two of them. You can't just have one of them. You've got to have all three. But if you were like, no, I just work hard, I have no genetics. My dad's a computer programmer who can't lift 5 pounds, and my mom's in a wheelchair, then we're going to go, wait a minute. Like this is something's wrong here. So the fact that like I'm trying to usually you'll talk to a guy and they're like, oh yeah, my dad played for the Chicago Bears and my mom was a Russian weightlifter. And you're like, oh, okay.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But so you just have some athletic parents. So
no, they're athletes and sure, but like none of my family was really big sports people. My sisters played soccer, and then I think they did cheerleading in high school a little bit, but yeah, no one really ever did it. I just kind of did it, and I don't know where I got really competitive for and like fell in love with sports so much. But
you were always competitive in sports?
Yeah.
Like how good of a wrestler did you?
I was decent. I mean, in California, it's different per state because like the state tournament in Idaho, there's like 5 state tournaments. Like it's just different. And Idaho's population is the size of San Diego. Right. Like, you know what I mean? But in wrestling in California, like the state tournament is everybody in the whole state wrestling. And I got top 12. They podiumed the top 8, and I lost in that 12th through 8th round. So if I won one more match, I would have been they podiumed the top 8. So okay. I was decent. I had like some offers to like Sac State, like some smaller schools. But I was kind of falling out of love with it. And I was like, I'm going to pick a school that I want to go to, and then I'll just go out for the wrestling team. And so I picked Boise State. I like talked to the coach. He said I had a spot on the team, no scholarship or anything like that. And then they cut the program.
So what do you attribute your success to? Hard work, good coaching, combination?
Dude, I think there's not one thing. There's so many things. I think like just like the support of my family, I think is just like the biggest thing. No matter what I was doing, if I wanted to play football, they were like all in on football and doing everything they could to help me do what I wanted to do. And I was like, I kind of don't like football anymore. I'm going to kind of quit that. And I really just want to focus on wrestling. I want to go to college for wrestling. So then they were like all in on that, driving me to tournaments and wrestling camps and all that stuff. And the same thing just kind of happened going into CrossFit. They're able to make it happen. And even in college, my mom told me like, long as I'm like dedicated to like wrestling, they'll help support me like with like food and gas and all that stuff. And then when that stopped, she said, if you still want to do CrossFit, I'll help support you do that. But like, you have to treat it, like take it serious. Like, I can't just be like going out and partying and doing CrossFit or whatever it is. So like, they kind of just like gave me the opportunity for it to happen. And along the way, I mean, there's just so many things that I learned. I think just like hard work. When I started wrestling my first year, like I lost every single match. Like I never caught on to things like super quick, but when I was bad at something, like I made sure I was going to get good at it. Like I do not like losing no matter what it is. Like in one of my classes, we like tried to juggle for a day just to like learn, or like they're just teach us like how hard learning something new is when you're older. And I was like, nope, I'm learning to juggle. So then like 2 weeks I practiced, learned how to juggle. Same thing, just doing random things like that. I don't like getting beat at. So
well, we call CrossFit standing in a box and suffering. Like it's basically the guy who wins is the one who can suffer the most.
Yeah.
And you have to have this pain tolerance that is, because even when you get so conditioned for it and at the level you're at, there's still to win when you're going up against guys that have that same pain tolerance as you. It's who can go and push it farther. And so where do you think I mean, I know a lot of guys in this sport get it from religion. You know, there's a lot of like highly religious guys that are like, hey, you know, if Jesus suffered, this is what I'm not a religious person myself, but I grew up religious and I was like, I get it. I see where they do that. And I think there's a lot of that in the sport of CrossFit, a lot. And I think those guys just see it like, hey, Jesus hung on the cross. I can do, 27 more box jumps, or I can, do these snatches or whatever it is. So what is it that you're able to endure that pain just over and over and over again?
Yeah. I mean, I think it just came just from like my upbringing, just like with my parents. Like if you're going to do something, like you're going to do it right. Like just from like my dad, if I'm working out in the yard and he's going to mow the lawn, no, if you're mowing the lawn, you're going to do it right. You're going to mow the edges, make sure there's straight lines, like everything like had a rhyme and reason to it. And that came for like in soccer, and when I played soccer when I was young, into football and into wrestling, it's just like, if I'm going to do it, like I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And I kind of just like fell in love with like the process of finding out how good I can get at something. And with CrossFit, there's just so many things that you can get good at. There's always someone better like out there than you at like a given like modality. And I think that's so cool, is that I'm like the fittest on earth, or whatever you want to call it. And out of 15 events, I won one, you know what I mean? So there's just so many things that I can still improve on. And it's just super cool to see like how hard I can push myself and figure out how fit I can get. Like you see people now, like the guy that like back squatted 500 pounds and then ran a 5-minute mile. It's like, people did not think that was going to be possible. And now like it is. And it's like, oh shoot, like that's where fitness is getting to now. Like you don't get to be like, it's like people used to think you're either strong or like you're like an endurance athlete. Like there's just like two different people. And now with CrossFit, it's like you can do everything. And that's just like what I've always loved. Is I hate when someone does something and I can't do it. Like I just want to be like, someone plays the guitar and be like, oh yeah, I can play the guitar too. And someone goes and juggle, like, oh yeah, I know how to juggle. If someone's riding a unicycle, I can do that. I can do that. Like snowboarding, I like to be able to do everything. And that's what CrossFit is.
Yeah. Well, you also had the best mullet in CrossFit. Did that come from soccer? Because I know soccer's a big mullet sport.
No, dude, it was literally random. I wrestled, so I had a buzz cut for like 6 years. And when I was little, I had like super straight hair. And then when wrestling was over, I was like, well, I don't need a buzz cut anymore. So I just like didn't get a haircut while I was in college, and my hair started growing out long and it was curly and stuff. I'm like, oh, I did not know I had curly hair. That's kind of cool. And I was getting ready to do a partner competition for CrossFit. My friend's like, dude, it would be hilarious if you cut your hair into a mullet. Cause I was going to like shave my head like back down. He's like, dude, just cut it into a mullet. It'd be super funny. And then you can just cut it off after. And I was like, well, like, okay, like why not? So I cut it into a mullet and did the competition. That was just kind of a funny thing. And then I met Adam, which is my coach, like a week later. And then he loved the mullet. And then it just kind of stuck.
Well, I mean, if for like and when I say average, I don't mean average. For a guy that's like a games level, I told this to Sean Sweeney, that as people were like building in the sport and trying to get attention, it was really hard to get sponsorship and attention unless, excuse me, unless you're like number 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so you needed a way like WWE to kind of stand out. And when he was wearing his cowboy hat, it was like great because all of a sudden there's a character, and I forget the guy from Canada that used to have the red beard, and but these guys stood out, and you knew who they were, opposed to some guy without his shirt on, just big, muscular dude. So all of a sudden, here comes Mullet Man, but your mullet wasn't it. Like, you became the best. So it was like, the mullet wasn't just a gimmick to say, hey, give me some attention. It was, hey, I like having a mullet. You look a little bit like Mario Lemieux in the 80s when he played hockey. He always had a strong mullet. I'm a big fan of the mullet.
Dude, it's awesome. It was so crazy. I mean, even like the 2020 games, it was just, there's no fans or anything. And like, I just didn't realize that people liked me, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then going into the 2021 season, I did the MAC, and that was like the first time being around other CrossFitters since I got third. And like, I don't like sitting in the athlete area. It's just too crowded. So I always sit in the stands and stuff. And like, people were coming up to me, and I'm like, you guys care? Like, you guys want to take a picture? Like, this is awesome. And then getting to the CrossFit games, there's like people that legit cut their hair into a mullet because they saw my mullet.
That's hilarious.
It's like so crazy.
I liked it too, because Hunter McIntyre likes to claim the mullet. And I'm like, no, you're not the mullet guy anymore, Hunter. In fact, he cut his off.
I know.
And I think
he couldn't handle it.
Nope, he couldn't. You're right. He could not handle the mullet. So then he went for the detective mustache. He's tried it all. Hunter just keeps trying and trying. One night while he's sleeping, I'm shaving his head bald. I swear to God. I'm good buddies with Hunter, and I'm going to hurt him one way or another.
That's awesome. I met him once it was literally like a month after I cut my hair into a mullet. I met him, and he told me that he was going to try to grow out a mullet.
Oh, so you're the original mullet.
Yeah, you should, if you talk to him, you should ask him about it. It was at Granite Games in 2019.
If I talk to him, he fucking calls me every day. I can't get rid of him.
That is awesome.
He's pushing his OCR stars online right now. If anyone wants to sign up for it, you can win a Jeep.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So fancy.
Not a bad deal. Like, good chance of winning just for signing up. That's the only thing I'd do it for. I wouldn't compete. But he just added a beer mile too. You can win $1,000 if you win his virtual beer mile. Which, by the way,
that's you, right, man, dude? You ran track. You like in a
no.
You got this.
I ran the beer mile. The first time I did it in 10:50.
There we go.
The second time I did it in throwing up in front of my in-laws, and a Hunter tried to break. I had $1,000 bet with him that he couldn't break a 6-minute beer mile. He ran the first lap in under 60.
Oh, shoot.
Chugged his beer in 8 seconds, and a quarter away around the second lap started puking.
Yeah, I would take that bet every time.
Yeah.
A 6-minute mile chugging 4 beers, like, nah.
You know what the record is?
What is it?
4:15.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I had the record holder on the show. I did an episode with him.
Dude, I got to go back and watch that. That is nuts.
It's insane.
Yeah, a 4:15 mile alone is insane.
Well, so Try to
Drinking
run.
4 beers in 4 minutes is insane.
What's your mile time? What's your fastest mile time, do you think?
Around 5 minutes.
Okay, that's what I assume. The top CrossFitters are all around 5. Try to run, so that's minute 15. Try to run just 4 minute and 15 laps and stop for 8 seconds and hold your breath.
Yeah, like
It's brutal.
Yeah, dude. It's like that is mind-boggling.
Nobody gets it. It's all about the finish your run and the way your breath control is at the end of your sprint, basically. Like, what can you do? Try running 100 meters and then holding your breath.
Yeah, it's like impossible, it feels like.
Yeah. So I surf a lot, and we train in like negative breath holds, like basically when all the oxygen's out of you, how can you tolerate carbon dioxide? Because when you ride a wave, you paddle as hard as you can, like a full sprint, to get into the wave. You pop up, so it's like doing like the hardest push-up of your life, and then you're using every bit of your muscle to work the wave, so you're in oxygen depletion. You get pummeled by the wave, thrown underwater, and you have so all you have left is the oxygen that's in your blood. And there's no you sometimes you get the wind knocked out of you, you get hit. So how are you staying under? And that's what the beer mile's like. You run a quarter mile, you have no oxygen, and you're trying to like tug this thing, and then you start burping the whole way through the next lap and the next lap. So I've retired from it officially. But if you want to sign up for Hunters, go to huntersacademyofstrength.com and sign up for OCRstars.com too. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that.
No.
You have to win. You've got to win. How many games to beat Fraser now? 5?
That's a long ways away, but yeah.
But that's got to be the goal.
Dude, for sure. I mean, you're always chasing it. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, the goal is just to win next year's games, and if I did keep doing that, then that one will eventually come. But there's a lot that's got to happen before that.
So when you qualified in 2020, that was it? That's all you wanted? You didn't realize that you were that good?
No, man, I really didn't. I qualified for the 2020 games in Ireland, and I literally just doing CrossFit for fun per se. Like the goal was to qualify that year, but I was like, I just want to make the CrossFit games. That's all I want to do. And then I'll graduate college and move on to whatever the heck I'm going to do. And my coach was like, dude, have you ever like thought about like actually trying to like do CrossFit? And I was like, never crossed my mind once.
And which coach was this?
Adam.
Okay.
Adam. I literally was working with him. He like literally made me go like this. For 4 months, I was working with him and then qualified for the games.
So did you seek him out, or were you just randomly at his gym? How did this happen?
I had a friend in Boise, and he was part owner of the gym that I was at, and I was working out by myself and doing my old coach's programming. And he just was like, dude, that looks terrible. I'll do it with you. Like, it sucks working out by yourself. So I got super close with him, and he like saw the potential that I had and was like, dude, your coach, like at the time was not good, not cutting it. And, hey, he's been to the games twice on the team, and he started reaching out. We're just reaching out to like Invictus and Comp Train, like, and all these other places, trying to figure out how to work with someone better, like Brute Strength and all them. And they're all like, oh yeah, sign up right now, $400 a month. And I'm like, don't have that. So just kind of kept reaching out, and he was like, oh dude, didn't even think about this. I just did a local competition up there. This guy, Adam Knifer, like he's been to the games a bunch of times. You should ask him, because he doesn't coach anybody. Adam doesn't. I mean, he coached his games teams that he was on, but he doesn't do personal training with anybody. But yeah, long story short, he introduced him. I reached out a bunch of times. He said no at first, and then ended up working out.
He played hard to get.
He played hard to get.
Did you at any point think maybe I should move to Cookeville?
No, no. I mean, at the time, if I got offered it at the time, I probably would have went out there in a heartbeat. Like, it's freaking Rich Froning. Like, how am I going to pass that up?
Yeah.
But I was a nobody, dude. No one really knew. I made regionals twice. And that was kind of everything I did.
Now you found the special coach, and that's great. I love to see that like there are people out there, because I do believe there are guys out there that know this sport just as much as anyone else and can do that, and it's just a matter of finding the right athlete, and that that you don't have to. I mean, what Rich is doing is amazing, and it just proves it with his team. But and comp train and all these other things. But I believe there's just as good coaches out there. Like take football, for example. There's not just 10 good coaches out there in the world. There's 50, 100. Like a lot of these guys can do it. College, pro, everything. So, it's just a matter of having the drive and finding the right coach, and you guys.
Yeah, it's having the right coach for you too. I think there's so many coaches that are great coaches, but they just don't work well with that athlete.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So just having someone that you can relate to too makes it. Because every coach has a different style. It's like whatever style that you like.
And so, what's your deal? Does he push you pretty hard, or are you guys more of scientific about? I had a high school coach that I used to get crushed in the beginning of the year and want to quit, and he was like, "Don't worry." He's like, "All these other guys are peaking because they've overtrained in the beginning of the year." He's like, "You're going to peak at the end of the year," and I attribute a lot of my success to him because he was so right. I just got better, and by the time sectionals and then states and everything came, I was at my best, because you can only peak for so long. And he was really scientific about building me like that. Whereas I'd see all these other guys just blow out in the beginning of the year and never get faster. And I see that with CrossFit. A lot of guys are just train as much as you can train. And then there's some guys that are just so precise about it. So what's your method of madness?
Yeah, and I think for me, it's just having the right team around me now. I've obviously started out with Adam, and now I have a group of people that are help trust. With Adam, he knows my capabilities, and I trust what he's going to do and what he gives me. It's my job is to execute what he gives me, and his job is to come up with the right plan for it. So I try not to think too much about it or overanalyze what I'm doing and what he we have such a good relationship now. Obviously there's times where I ask questions, but it's not I'm blindly following him, but for the most part, I know what he's doing. I know that he wants me to win. At times probably more than I want to win, you know what I mean? And that's what it takes. So I know everything that he's doing is to make me better. And obviously I give him my feedback all the time. We talk all the time, every day, just about how the training sessions went and what I think about it and stuff. But his job is to come up with that training plan. My job is to execute it. So that's just kind of how we've gone, and it's been working good.
Sounds like it works. That's usually how it is. What do you think of Ricky Gerard coming back? And I don't want to put you on the spot like that. What I mean is, does it put this oh boy, here's a guy who's come in second before, who's been, looks like he's, a man on a mission right now. Do you look at that, or do you just work out with blinders? I'm not going to worry about the competition. I only worry about myself.
Yeah, I mean, both of those. I mean, it's not I can control how fit he is. I only control how fit I am, but it's not I'm blind to it. I definitely see it. And it's funny that you brought that up. I know he just came out with a podcast with the CrossFit Games podcast, but I listened to the first 30 minutes of it. And honestly, the past 4 years, I was honestly really skeptical of the guy. And I get everyone messes up and everyone deserves a second chance. I believe that wholeheartedly. Just the way that I felt he went about it originally was I remember listening to him say that everyone at the CrossFit Games is taking steroids. He was the one that got caught, kind of thing. And I'm like, dude, you're not apologizing for it. You're you're trying to justify it to yourself. And that's what always irritated me about it. I'm like, dude, everyone messes up and everyone deserves a second chance. But if that's your mindset about it, you obviously haven't changed. And listening to the first 30 minutes of this podcast, I feel he's definitely started to come back around with it. And he knows that he messed up. He said he was just kind of made some immature mistakes. And he's not trying to say that it wasn't his fault or anything. He knew what he was doing at the time. But I'm really interested to see what happens when he comes back.
Being a guy that's made more mistakes than most people put together, I definitely have sympathy for him. I have sympathy hey, the guy screwed up. Give him a second chance. I have an issue with steroids in the sport where I'm I would rather see no testing, and just let it go. Because I think there are guys out there that aren't, and there are guys that are, and there are guys that squeak by and are good and figure it out. I don't know how much of an advantage it gives them. I don't like to point the finger at anybody, and I'm not one of these guys like, they're all doing it. I believe it goes on in all professional sports.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that if they just let it go, it's like, at least then you would never question being a clean athlete. You're never like, is this guy beating me because he's doing something that I'm not doing? Is this not fair? And in that situation, you're like, well, I had the opportunity to do it. I just chose not to. And they did it. And then there could also be, I'd like to see a natural side, like bodybuilding, where they have like unregulated and then a natural side. And you could be natural and go, I'm going into unregulated because I can beat their asses. I can beat them on or off, and just let it go. And that would be even more fun to say, I'm a clean athlete in the unregulated sport and I still beat them. And that would be a lesson to them also that, wow, you're risking your health and you're not winning. So
I mean, that's what Matt Fraser did to him. Like, you know what I mean? But I mean, I definitely think it's an interesting argument. I mean, everyone has. It's just like someone like me, like no matter if it was legal or not, like I'm not doing it. Right. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen. And it definitely gives you an unfair advantage. That's why it's illegal. So it's,
well, I've and you probably know it all from kinesiology. I mean, I've seen the studies of what it can do, how much muscle can be built, like clinical studies. And that is a little bit of my issue with Ricky Gerard. I believe Ricky Gerard deserves another chance. However, we all know not muscle memory, but the growth of your muscles can happen at a larger, faster rate on steroids. Then you go off them, you basically trained your muscles to go to a size they've never gone to before. And so you have the ability to do that with them now because of something you did so far in your past that now you have an unfair advantage. And so,
for sure. So
the steroids that he did back then will, in a sense, stay with his physiology forever. So it's a little unfair in that respect. And that's, so I see that side of the argument. I'm not one of these guys like punish him, blah, blah, blah. To me, he's a kid. And I did so much fucked up shit as a kid that it's like, oh my God, like your frontal lobe's not fully developed. You don't know what you're doing. You're so many things that you could do wrong. But as far as that, and I'm being redundant, but that's my stance on it. So I'm caught in the middle.
Yeah. And I think like the biggest advantage of it is like recovery.
Sure.
Like your body just recovers so much faster so you can train harder, train longer, and train more. And especially at the CrossFit Games. I mean, you could talk to any athlete at the CrossFit Games and it's a game of who can recover the quickest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think an awesome example of that is you look at the max snatch event. Oh, are you still there?
Yeah.
I don't know if you cut out.
Did I freeze? Am I frozen?
Uh-oh.
Frozen?
Oh, you there?
Yeah. Can you see me?
Got you.
Okay, good. That happens every once in a
I think it's probably my internet, but I just think you look at the max snatch from like the MAC where I qualified. I snatched 285 and got 9th place, and there was 6 dudes that snatched 300 pounds. And you go to the CrossFit Games, and we have the max snatch, and instead of event 1, it's event 12, I think. And my 285-pound snatch at the Games got me a better finish than my 285-pound snatch at the MAC. Like it's a game of recovery, and if you can recover well throughout the whole weekend, you're going to perform what you're capable of. If you do the 13th event fresh and you do it the 13th event after 13 events, it's like, oh, that was different. You know what I mean? And I think that's like what the biggest advantage comes into.
You're giving away your secrets. That's Chris Hinshaw told me that years ago when we talked about who's better, Fraser or Froning, and I won't tell you who he said, but he talked about that CrossFit is a sport of endurance, and you watch. It doesn't really matter till the last day. Like you watch it, and it's the guys in the end that come on strong in the end that win the CrossFit Games, and it's the other guys that are beaten up and have not been able to endure all that volume. And because He said nobody gets it. Like everybody thinks it's like a kind of like a middle distance sport that you need the combination of speed, strength, and endurance. Like you got to be like in that middle range. And he's like, it's an endurance sport because after 4 or 5 days, where are you? Where are you? What's your ability at that time? That's why I believe that it's going to be a younger and younger sport. Like you're in the age range right now where you're going to see the winners from now on. You're not going to see 30-year-old and 35-year-old. Like,
hey, maybe I'll be there when I'm 35. You never know.
No, I don't think so.
And in 14 years, 14 years, I'll still be winning the CrossFit Games.
Well, hey, Kelly Slater was 18th in the world this year in surfing, and he only went to half the events. And he's going to turn 50 years old this year.
Ridiculous.
And he is, in my opinion, I would say right now competitively, probably the 5th or 6th best surfer in the world. Like if he had tried, he probably come in 5th or 6th in the world. And surfing is like a physical sport. Yeah. I mean, like rugby. And and the fact that he's doing it at 50 years old. Jaromir Jagr was playing hockey at I think professional hockey at 48 or 49, and played every game. Yeah. So you might be 15 years from now going, hey, Eddie, remember you told me this was a young man sport? Well, fuck you.
Yeah. I'm coming back on this in 15 years. I'm going to show you.
If I'm doing this show in 15 years, please find me and punch me in the face.
Deal, man. Deal.
I got a few more questions, and then I'll let you go study kinesiology. Or no, what am I talking about?
I'm putting together my rig, man. I'm not going studying.
You're going to get out your box cutter, start opening your boxes.
Exactly.
I love how you're all excited about that. But I have a garage gym, and my wife thinks I'm so weird. Like I'm like, I got a new kettlebell.
I know, I'm so excited.
So did they show up with a lot of stuff? I want to get back more to what you got. You got your new.
Yeah, dude.
Did you say? Can you take your rack outside? Or it's going to be bolted to the wall?
The new rack that I got, no, it's going to be freestanding, but I'll push it up against a wall.
Okay. I love those racks that fold.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want one of the...
Yeah, those are nice. My sister has one of those.
Do you hear that, Rogue? I would like one of those folding racks that
Hook 'em
fold
up.
into my wall so that my wife doesn't yell at me. Because you know what my wife does now? She uses my rack to hang laundry.
It's a dryer.
I know. And
I dry it out there.
I get so mad. I'll come out to work out and I'm like, looks like I'm folding clothes. Okay, so you got a GHD. Do you have a reverse hyper?
No.
You don't use one ever?
I never said that.
What's your secret supplement? If you had one supplement that you take all the time, what is it?
I don't know. I take a lot. I think just like food is the best thing to just like to eat. Like supplements are supplements. You supplement them in, but you just got to try to eat as much as you can. I think supplements, people dive too much into that, but
you don't take protein powder?
I take a lot of stuff, man.
Is this a secret?
I don't know. But yeah, dude, I take Podium. I mean, everything that Podium has. I mean, I'm taking their protein, their pre-workout, and their BCAAs. Like I take all 3 of those every day.
Oh, you do take BCAAs. All right.
Yeah.
Because I just remember when Fraser went on Rogan and talked about taking beta-alanine, it sold off the shelves. Sold out. Yeah, it was insane. And a sponsor of my show is C4, which has beta-alanine in it.
Oh, they're gone.
No, I have a giant refrigerator full of them outside, and friends come over, and I'm like, here you go. If they want to work out with me, I go, drink this, and then we'll start in 20 minutes. I go, you're going to feel something. And they're like, really? I go, yeah. This stuff gives you a kick. And it's like, they're like, what? Like an energy drink? I'm like, no, it's like, I can't explain it. Yeah, the tingling in the face. And I'm like, they even say on the can, as soon as you start to feel the tingle, that's when you should start working out. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, shoot.
So, but Fraser said it felt like it gave him a third lung.
Yeah.
Did you ever try it? You've tried beta-alanine, obviously, if you had the face.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. So, I noticed there's a lot of secretive stuff going on here. And I get it. I would,
Yeah, man.
If I was a top out, there's no way I would give anyone my secrets.
Yeah, man. It's yeah. Don't want to tell everything.
No, I don't.
Maybe I'm telling you everything that's wrong. Maybe I'm doing the opposite of everything you're saying.
That's awesome. That's like comedians always ask me how I write jokes, and I'm like, I don't write them. They just come to me.
Yeah, it's come to me, man. It's really easy for me. They just like come.
Yeah, I improv that all on stage.
Yeah,
I just straight out of the top of my
head. That's awesome.
It used to be I would ask you questions like this because I wanted to know. Because I was like, how do I get better? But I've just gotten to, like, I like to talk to guys like Dave Hippenstall now. Like, what do you do? Because he's like, 104 and still like doing like 30 muscle ups in a row. So
yeah.
So those are the people like you. I don't give a shit what you're doing. I'm only asking for every wacko out there that thinks they have a chance at the CrossFit Games.
Exactly, man. Dude, recover, man. That's it.
When you turned around in the 2020 games and they told you to keep going, on the run.
Dude, that was brutal. That's like forever going to stick with me. Like, I think every event at the CrossFit Games this year, I'm like, fuck, he's going to make us do it again. He's going to make us do it again. Like, it's like trauma now. It's like, you never know now. It's like, wait, is the workout ever really over? Like, you just don't know. So finishing that event and making us do it again, it was
not going to lie to you. Maybe one of my, if not favorite moments in CrossFit history, because to me, that epitomized what CrossFit is.
Yeah.
And I loved it. We used to have football practices where the coach would, in the middle of practice, just scrap what we were doing and do something else. And you're like, I just used all my energy. Like, because I thought we were going to then do this and this and this and walk through drills. And now we're going to run hills, and you're like, holy shit. So I like that aspect of CrossFit. I'm a big proponent of, I think you guys should train at CrossFit, but when you get to the games, it's all unknown and unknowing or whatever he calls it. And that it's all strange objects and it's all stuff that you couldn't particularly train for. So it's not like specialized, like how good's your snatch, how good's your this, like a little bit strongman. But even strongman I don't like because they'll have handles on it. Or they will have practiced with it. I want to be like, okay, here's a refrigerator, run around the track with it. First one around is the fittest guy. And you're just like,
okay, let's go.
And I think at the end of the day, you still would have won.
Yeah, dude. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I always wanted to make the CrossFit Games. In 2015, that was the year that they introduced the pig. I think it's the same year they had the snail. They had the wheelbarrow race where they put the sandbags in it and like took it across the floor and then threw them over the wall.
Yeah, that was my favorite event.
Yeah, like all that stuff. I'm like, dude, I want to go to the CrossFit Games. I want to do that. You know what I mean? And I definitely, that has to be a part of every CrossFit Games. And that's what makes it super exciting.
So do you try anything outside of CrossFit at all? Like you see Froning do like triathlons, or have you ever tried like an OCR event or anything like that other than CrossFit?
I have not, but I definitely have a desire to. I think that stuff looks super fun, but
you want to stay focused. You got to stay focused.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if I went out there and did one of those like marathon things and rolled my ankle, I'd be so pissed.
Yeah. But I had one more question for you that I wanted to know. I forget what it was.
Make it count.
Were you so you wanted to qualify for the games. That was like your big thing. But then when you were in the hunt, like you're right behind Fraser. Were you thinking like, what the fuck is going on? How did this happen? Did you feel like I belong here? Or this is this is because the games have been awkward this year and they limited it to 5 people? Or what was going on in your head?
Yeah, there was so much going on. I mean, especially with the stage 1, just all online. I just had no idea where I was. I think it was still amazing that I won the Filthy 150. I was like, I don't know how that happened. You know what I mean? And then I got to stage 1. I'm like, dude, I just hope I get top 20. That'd be cool. They pay out the top 20. That'd be sick. Yeah. And like, that was the goal that I wanted. I really wanted to get top 10. That was like my bigger goal. And then to get third in it and qualify for like stage 2 of the games, I was like, dude, what is happening this year, man? Like, I don't like this should not be happening. You know what I mean? Like last year, I was a whole different athlete, and to go to the games again and get third, it's like, okay, like there's way too many coincidences to be a coincidence. Like this is
Were you a Nike athlete? You're a Nike athlete, right?
no
Oh, you're
noble.
not. Oh, you're Noble. Okay, I'm sorry
Yeah.
for saying that. And were you with Noble? Did you just start with them this year?
Right after the 2020 games.
Okay. So,
Yeah. GoWOD was my only sponsor going into the 2020 games.
Wow. And now you have 750 sponsors.
Yeah, man. Dude, I really work with like the best people. It's awesome. And like it's literally just like creating like a team around me to see like how like every person that I work with, like that's like a big part of it is I just want to have a good relationship with them and I want to like love their products. I mean, I remember going into the 2021 games this year, I was using 8 Sleep. Have you heard of 8 Sleep? It's just like it's a mattress. It's a mattress company, but
Wow.
it heats and cools your mattress.
Yeah,
So you can like program if you like it cold or hot. And I used it like all summer leading up to the games. It was like super hot, like in Adam's house. I'm not going to go in there and like turn down his air because I want it cold. Like it's his house. I'm not saying anything, but so like I got that bed in and I can regulate the temperature of my sleep the whole time. And then after this year, like now I'm working with them and it's because I like that's how I do a lot of the companies. Like I got GoWOD in like 2017, and then it's crazy. I've been using all this stuff, and now and it's insane.
What is the supplement company you use?
Podium.
Are they the ones Fraser and Buttery Brothers? That's kind of a new deal with all of you guys.
Yeah, dude, it was really cool. They obviously it's been in the works longer
right
than I've been a part of it.
Yeah.
I was their first athlete they signed, but they've obviously been working on this for so long. But just last month, I flew out to Georgia in their facility where they're manufacturing it all, and I got to do like some of the taste testing.
Oh wow!
I got to like create my own flavor of protein that hasn't came out yet, but I'm really good about. But just a taste like, oh, I don't like this. Like, can we make it more like this kind of flavor? And it was super part of like a company that's just starting like that.
That's really cool. And they're in Georgia.
That's where they're manufacturing like all the products. The people, and they don't really have like a home base because everything ships out of there. But the two guys that own it are from Texas, and then obviously Matt, Heber, and Mars are the other.
All right, 2 last questions, and I'll let you go, and you can get your box cutter out and open up all your shit and play. You know you're going to be up all night,
dude. I'm so excited,
and screwing things down. And girlfriend? Do you have a girlfriend?
Nope.
Wow. And how does that? Like, I feel like you have to have a girlfriend in your position because if you didn't, you would be like I'm focused on my career because I have a wife now.
Mm-hmm.
When I didn't have a wife, I was focused on getting laid all the time. And so I was out all night and doing this and everything was about that. And it was such a good thing for me to settle down career-wise. And I'm like, why didn't I do this when I was like 20? Yeah. Because like I was just... And I can't believe you're such a humble guy that you're not walking around Boise State without your shirt on going, by the way, #1 in the world. Hey, ladies. Hey, ladies.
Shoot.
Is that, and I mean, like, how do you have any kind of social life, or are you just too focused?
No, I mean, I definitely like have a social life. It's just I have like my group of people, and that's kind of it. I mean, it's 2 people I live with, and I have a couple other friends, but now like all my friends have moved away. The guy that introduced me to my coach Adam, he's one of my best friends. I was in his wedding, and he's in Ohio now. And then I have like my good friends that are back home in California. Like my best friend from high school is in Texas. Like I have a small group, but everyone's gone. But I live with my roommates now, and we're obviously getting real close. They're from my hometown in Lodi, and they moved up here now. So
that's cool.
I'm dragging them into everything I do.
Oh, so they're not going to Boise State. You froze.
No.
Oh, okay. So it's just like team. We're having a little internet problem right there. So what'd you say?
I said no. They're not going to Boise State.
Okay. Well, now I forget what just want to know, are you doing, and you might not want to give this up, I always say, I work out with James Newberry a lot at his gym in Australia. I live there for a month every year.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I go to James's gym every day, and I know his family. He's just the greatest guy in the world. And I don't train with James. I watch James train, because I can't do anything that he does. Are you hearing me? We're frozen. It's Idaho, everybody. This is Idaho. This is Idaho's fault. This is Idaho's infrastructure.
I can hear you fine. I just don't know if you can see me or
what I was going to say is, James, what I noticed is a lot of Olympic lifting and a lot of assault bike. And it's not that complex. It's not like, all these different things that you see in the game. You just see him just really focusing on the lifting, getting stronger with the Olympic lifts, and then the conditioning, just getting those lungs, going. And is yours simplistic like that, or do you feel like yours is so complex that it's like it would just blow people's minds?
It'd blow people's minds. No, man, it's just like a focus. It's like focus of working on your weaknesses. And for James, I'm assuming that's lifting and biking. I would assume, but I think everyone's training should look different. If your training looks like everyone else's, I don't know, probably doing something wrong unless you're really similar to everyone else.
But you're not one of these guys to give away your programming until you've got five wins under your.
Exactly. No, I feel like I'm doing something right, and I'll share eventually, but not right now.
You don't share? I respect that, and I think it's the smartest thing in the world. I don't think you should tell anyone.
Yeah, man.
Keep it.
I like when people are thinking about it, like, dude, what the heck did he do the past 2 years? Like,
it's the best thing in the world.
I'm like, all right, like, you keep thinking about it.
But like, as soon as we get off here, I'll text you and you can tell me what you do.
I got you. Yeah.
I won't tell anyone. Except for everyone next week. Just tell me this. Do you do, like, how every year there's something new that gets thrown in and everybody tries to predict what's it going to be? Is it going to be an obstacle course? Is it going to be, was it the kayak this year or was it kayaking? You guys kayaked this year.
Yeah, we had a kayak. We also had the freestanding handstand push-ups. That was totally new. Yeah.
So in saying that, do you practice little weird things, wondering like, is stand-up paddleboarding going to be in it? Or are you just like, you know what, I'll deal with that when it comes to it?
To an extent. So I just think it's fun sometimes to like go out there and kind of mess with something new. So you're kind of hitting two birds with one stone, just kind of going out, having fun, doing something different outside the gym or something different in the gym that you normally wouldn't do to be prepared. But you can never guess what's going to come up.
All right. Well, I'd like to say I'll see you in Boise, but it's the only comedy club that's fired me in America. Apparently, I made 2 women cry there.
Oh, gosh.
Liquids right on Main Street.
Dude, that is hilarious.
Yeah. I did a joke about a drug, Humira, and a woman with lupus who takes the drug said I made fun of her. And she left crying, and she had the Lupus Society send me letters. Everyone in the Lupus Society was like writing me emails they wrote to my wife on my wife's Instagram page saying that I was a horrible person and that she shouldn't have married me.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. Not funny about
because I made fun of, did you ever see the commercial where the guy's at the salad bar and he has psoriasis, and I called it leprosy. And because like your skin like gets all irritated and flakes off. So I was embellishing as a comedian does. I called it leprosy. And I said, but my problem was the commercial. It's not the drug or the disorder. I said that in the commercial, his skin flakes fall off into the salad bar, and this hot chick sees it happen, and she like walks away like, ew. And they're like, don't let this be you. Try Humira. And I'm like, that was the end of the commercial. I'm like, what about the salad bar? Like there's human body parts in the bacon bits, in the bacon bits right now. Like you should show like guys in hazmat suits coming in and like
yellow gloves.
Yeah. And she cried and complained to the club about me, and they're like, "We can't have you back. You made a woman cry and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Are you kidding?" So I will never be back at Boise. The closest I come is Ketchum. I do shows up in Ketchum. But I hope to see you at the next games. I will be probably at the next games, and I'm sure you will too. And good luck. Congratulations with everything. You seem very deserving of it all. You got your head on straight, and I'm glad I got to talk to you. Is there anything you'd like to plug on here?
Not really, man. I mean,
your Instagram?
You can follow me on Instagram, Justin Medeiros 34. I've been this next off season, I'm really trying to get my YouTube channel kind of up and going. I have a couple of videos out on there right now. I think the link's in my Instagram and stuff, but hopefully it's going to be kind of posting around, making like little vlog type videos, kind of following along what I'm doing this off season, what I'm up to, and the home gym build will be up in there pretty soon.
That's
so
awesome. What did your Instagram followers go from before the games to after the games?
Dude, before the 2020 games, I had like 4,000 Instagram followers.
Yeah.
And then now I have like 315,000.
That's it. I can't believe you're not over 1 million already.
Yeah, it's wild, dude. I remember I was at 4,000, and then I did Ireland, and I got to like 10,000 or 8,000 or something like that, and I was like, this is insane. Like, it's crazy, all that stuff. But hopefully, I'm interesting. People want to follow along.
Yeah, well, I guarantee you'll be way up over the millions because I think you're going to have a long career. And thanks for doing the show. I appreciate it. You seem like a really good dude. And next time I see you, please tell me your entire workout regimen.
For sure, man. Dude, thanks for having me on.
All right, dude. Thanks for doing it. And thanks for listening to the show, guys. You know what to do. Rate, review, comment, and pester Hunter McIntyre any way possible. Yeah, thanks, guys. Good to see you next week.